What's happening, folks? Back with another acid tune, but this time it's some corking acid trance, although again, it's in that hard acid trance like Cho-key's tunes, VCF, indeed it's on VCF, but it's in that style, meaning like, for a lot of people now, I think it's just, you call it acid techno, I'm fine with that, but again, a lot of the records back in the day, people were talking about them as hard acid trance. Some of the sleeves, like for VCF, literally would say like, you know, the only acid trance shop in London, blah blah blah. So again, for me, it'll just always be hard acid trance, but I don't mean to be like argumentative about this. It's just something that I like feel like I have to bring up when I talk about these labels, because, you know, again, when I go to label the videos, as I've tried to do, you know, I put my reaction videos like, oh, you know, Shnootz reactions, and then like acid techno or acid trance or acid house, whatever it is, and then it's, again, we do these VCF tracks. We do the, like, you know, mid 90s, late 90s Cho-key's tunes, and it's like, do I call it acid trance? And maybe some people who like acid techno will look away, won't watch the video, and then it's like, shit, but, you know, maybe they like this because it does sound like some of the more rip-roaring acid techno of later years, just with a slightly different vibe. So regardless, I'm going to label it as both, because that, I think, is the most fair, and will certainly not turn anyone away just based on like the way that I've described it. Regardless, we're going to listen to one of my favorite records on VCF. I have 2 copies of it. This sleeve from, what is it, Proton Records, totally unrelated. I got this one first, shout out to DJ Vic. But yeah, this one is a better copy that I got later. So yeah, this one is a DJ Paola. I believe Paola is Paola Hamilton Rowe, I believe is how you say, or that's the real name. It doesn't say here, it just says DJ Paola, and then, you know, a remix by Cho-key. We're going to listen to the original Aliens, though. The Cho-key remix of Aliens, holy shit, it's just like typical like acid burning the house down. I very much like it. I think it's fantastic. And the tune on the other side, Souls of the Tribe, so it's a very like emotional sort of acid trance tune. Samples an indigenous American, I believe, although, you know, it's funny about that, like, remember that Enigma song, The Age of Innocence, and then people were like, oh, it's a Native American, like, nope, I believe it was from the Philippines. It was an indigenous person from the Philippines, and by the way, they didn't have permission to use his vocal, even though they got it from the public domain, and there's a big thing about that, but that's a story for another day. Regardless, we're going to listen to the original version of Aliens by DJ Paolo, and this is an incredible tune, which I think it has the grit and the acid of Cho-key's version, but it has more, a little bit more atmosphere, a little bit more of a like a hard trance vibe. Whereas again, Cho-key's, it's like the same thing, but like take away the atmosphere and just put more fucking acid in the bin. So you might be surprised that I'm not reacting to that one. We'll get around to it eventually. I love all 3 tracks on this record. But here we go. This is the Aliens original, or just Aliens, I should say, by DJ Paolo. And what year is this? I'll look it up in a second. I think this is, I'm going to say 97. So this record is 97, indeed. And Paola, yeah, Hamilton Rao, like R-A-O. So I kind of, I think missaid it, but don't know what the sample's from, but I like it. Although it sounds that, you know, sounds like someone's talking about some sort of rapture idea, so, you know, I'm not sure exactly what to make of it. I need more context. But in the way it's used in the track is great. Regardless of the provenance of the sample. Now that synth, that I think some people might hear it as old school, but that ain't always a bad thing. Let's go. Secondary intro, the bass line coming in, and again, it's a hard trance bass line, right? Like, that cymbal rhythm. Now to dump a large cup of acid over the top of the track.
these bodies to the light.
Like cry right at the measure transition. Have to go into fourth gear.
Nothing is certain for those of us left behind.
Now we have a real like beefy sort of acid layer, like still providing the foundation, but now like the like wet sort of like lashing layer has taken center stage.
Nothing is certain for those of us left behind.
You didn't know, this is what DCF is about, man. This breakdown in the atmosphere here, I really enjoy it. And again, like, the Cho-key's version is just a little bit more straight of an acid burner. It doesn't really have this vibe.
Some get saved. She won't ever know the hardship and grief for those of us left behind.
Written, produced by Paola, remixed by Cho-key. Just wondering if Geezer is like maybe involved with engineering this release. Just a thought. I don't see anything to that effect.
Oh, there's some get cold, some get saved. She won't ever know the hardship and grief for those of us left behind. Commit these bodies to the light.
The melody line comes back in there is great.
Commit these bodies to the light.
Dead pause. Breathless. Yeah. And 4 levels. 4 levels we're gonna kick up right here. And then we're gonna bring in a hard synth after. Of a synth that like 10 years later would be used in like dubstep or something. Like that hard kind of chainsaw style of dubstep. I don't really follow the genre, but you know. I knew some people who were like old school junglists and then got into dubstep. And I was like, isn't dubstep like jungle like at half speed, or am I wrong?
She won't ever know the hardship and grief for those of us left behind.
Yeah, whatever. I do like the second breakdown is like quick. It's just a reintroduction of that vibe, but with kind of that syncopated rhythm, the sample, and more back. Everything hard synth, the acid, the melody, little shots at the sample, the void. Masterpiece.
Nothing
Like DB acid layer, like commanding again. Nice outro too, like it's breaking down, but the acid is still doing a lot, so double drop out, like, there won't be a drop in the intensity. Listen to that acid now that it's like really in isolation, just about. I don't know if I've ever ended a mix with this, but you certainly could.
to the void.
Commit these bodies to the void, maybe, as the final one, or no? I guess not. I guess we're just gonna fade.
To the void.
The eagle sound is what ends it. Yeah, it's amazing. As I said, arguably, this record stands as high as any record in my enjoyment of the VCF label. There are other records on VCF that I would say are like right at this same level. But yeah, it's as good as any other on the label, I would say. And again, it's a 3-tracker for sure. There's this one, with, you know, the atmosphere, but it's also got the acid and the hard sort of vibe. And then you got Cho-keys. I almost said it again the wrong way. I've sort of corrected my brain on that, but occasionally it still slips through, I guess. Regardless, there is the Cho-keys version, which is basically that track, but just with more of a focus on the acid and slightly reduced, like, hard trance atmosphere. And then, like I said, there's Souls of the Tribe, which is a very sort of emotional and epic acid trance journey. So we'll come back for that one eventually. I'd be interested to do that one. I heard it on mixtapes back in the day. I played it at an event back in the day once I got the record. Yeah, regardless, at any rate, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you're a fan of VCF. Let me know if you like this record in particular. Other than that, have a good day, have a good night. I'll see you next time. Peace.